These are pretty much the perfect looking penny loafer. They are from Myrqvist, a footwear brand based out of Stockholm, and they're all about quality footwear at affordable prices. Basically the same pitch as 99% of D2C brands. So question is, are they all style and no substance? Well, I reached out to Myrqvist and they gave me these to review. Links to them in the description. Now let's find out. So these are the Stenhammar II in dark brown calf leather. It's a penny loafer with an apron front, and right off the bat, I just want to say how nice the shape on these are. In fact, I think it's the best part about this loafer. By that, I mean the proportions are well balanced, nothing too exaggerated. The lines are soft, the minimal toe spring creates a streamlined look, the heel is exactly the right height for the style, the toe box is rounded yet slender, and the vamp is neither too tall nor short. In other words, and I know this sounds like a cliche, you can dress them up and you can dress them down. Although for my personal style, I'd wear this to smarten up my casual fits rather than making my dressy fits casual, if that makes sense. The uppers on this is a classic smooth, dark brown, full grain, box cuff leather, finished with a light shine. Obviously, these aren't bespoke. I'm not expecting the leather to be flawless, so in that regard, I'm not too surprised by the imperfections. Fresh out of the box, there were 1 or 2 spots with blemishes and stretch marks, as well as folds under the toe box due to the lasting process. Stitching on the uppers are also all neat and tidy, but yeah, overall it's all within expectation at this price point. And yes, the leather will crease because, well, it's leather. That's what leathers do. Now, the reason for the particularly heavy creases on mine is, well, I'll get to that later. But personally, I don't mind creases. If it bothers you, maybe get a pair of cedar shoe trees. Not that it helps prevent creases, it's more of helping to maintain the shape of your shoes as well as eliminating any odors. The Stenhammar is made in Portugal with a 270-degree Goodyear welt. Like most Goodyear welted shoes, these are hefty. They start off stiff, feels like there's a shank inside, but they are already getting less stiff after a few wears. On the inside, everything is leather. The leather lining, leather insole, and leather sock liner, which I guess is nice if you ever go sockless, not that I'd recommend it. There's a bit of padding under the sock liner, and as is typical of leather insoles with cork fillings underneath, my foot imprints are already starting to form. You've also got a leather board stiffener that goes past the heel. Now the creases are there because the collar was kinda digging on my ankles. It didn't cause any pain whatsoever, more of just rubbing me the wrong way, so I tried to soften it by bending it around. It probably would have softened up over time anyway, so I could have avoided the creases if I were more patient, but I just can't wait when it comes to comfort. And yes, I do have other issues with the comfort, but more on that later. Okay, moving on to the welt, which has about 5 to 6 stitches per inch. Again, typical for a shoe at this price point. Regardless, it complements the somewhat smart casual aesthetic of the loafer. Okay, next, the outsole. It's just a basic rubber sole. Not that I care for leather soles all that much, as long as the sole is grippy, which is the case here, I'm all good. And finally, the heel. It's got 2 layers of stacked leather, a rubber top lift, and is finished with nails that are both functional and decorative. Speaking of functional, the notch on the heel. It prevents the heel from catching onto your trousers, although it's not really a sign of quality these days, but more of a nod to tradition. And speaking of decorative, the markings on the heel. I forgot the name for it, I think it's called fudging, but correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, it does add a touch of refinement to the loafer, and coupled with the 270-degree welt as opposed to a 360 welt, makes for a less bulky look. According to the size chart, I'm a UK 6.5, so that's what I went for, and the length is on point. Now, I've got 2 issues with the fit. First, I've got a low volume and low instep foot, which causes my heel to slip a bit. Second, the shoe felt narrow despite Myrqvist saying this was made on a wider last. Fortunately, all these were an easy fix. I just applied some padding on the heel and tongue and cranked my shoe stretcher to the max, which explains all the creases, but it's a price I'm willing to pay. In terms of styling, like I said earlier, you can dress this up, you can dress this down. Everything from t-shirt and shorts to a casual suit. Personally, I like to style mine with dark indigo jeans, a Harrington jacket, and surprise surprise, an OCBD. I know, I've been wearing OCBDs in every video. So for about 340 USD, These are in the $300 to $400 category, where brands typically start to use noticeably higher quality materials and construction. On paper, the Stenhammar is pretty standard. The leather is okay, the construction is sturdy, and there are some nice finishing touches. So I guess the question is, what makes these loafers so special? Well, I'd say the biggest thing going for them would be the silhouette. To my eye, the proportions are truly flawless, and you probably won't find a better looking loafer at this price point. So if you'd like to get your hands on this, do support the channel and use my link in the description below. Until next time, stay sato.